Have you ever had somebody hate you so much that they tried to use the judicial system to ruin your life? I almost didn't tell this story. I remembered it as something being crazy that happened to me in college. One of those you won't believe this stories. But when I started writing everything down, looking at the videos, the photos, the documents, I realized something that shook me to my core. What I went through wasn't just roommate drama. It was a whole domestic violence situation. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your first time, you know, we love building the fam. I'm just gonna get into it, as you can tell by the title of this video. So yes, this is a story time, but it's also me telling my truth. And he sent me to jail. Back when I transferred from my community college to the university I went to, I moved from Virginia Beach to Richmond with a friend of mine who graduated from the same program that I did at my community college. We'll call him Kyle. And we moved to student-esque apartment. If you wanted lower rent, but you didn't have anybody you wanted to move in with, they would pair you with roommates. You were placed in a roommate situation. They already had two people living in there. We'll call them Carlos and Tanner. And before I start the story, I feel like it's important to mention they were both gay. It's important, I feel like, for the dynamic of how I was treated. It wasn't like a love quarrel at all, but yeah, no judgment, I'm an ally. So at first, everything was fine. We'd have game nights, we'd cook together, normal roommate stuff, right? So I thought. So the roommate that had issues with me, it would start with very like passive comments. I would be cooking something, and here comes Carlos coming over here. Ugh, you using that? Why you do it like that? You're such a child. I've been moved out before. This is not my first time moving out. I can't believe it's your first time moving out. I agree. I would brush it off, because honestly, I don't like confrontation. Be friendly. I would even, like, you know, still go out to eat with them. I go to the gym with them. I'm not about drama. I just wanted peace in my house. I later found out he was obsessed with one of his exes. I say this because I'm thinking maybe this is why he had some weird obsession over me. He would always say things like, oh, you remind me of my ex, or my ex would do stuff like that. But he always wanted to get back with this ex. Or he just wanted to be me, because, I mean, who don't? Let me stop. But maybe Carlos did. One night we all went to dinner. We just wanted to, like, just, you know, do the roommates thing. You know, we're in Richmond, like, let's go out to eat. Let's have dinner. So the whole time Carlos is literally just like complaining about everything. And then he targets me. During this moment, he calls me vapid. I kind of was just fed up at this point, and kind of playfully, you don't even know the definition of vapid. That set him off. He then was trying to Google what vapid meant. It was gonna tell me, oh, you're unimaginable and a follower. Guess it was wrong. He brings up my ex and starts telling me I have daddy issues. First of all, I kind of was like in a on and off relationship at the time, but he ain't know all my business like that. He don't know the relationship I had with my daddy. He was just trying every word under the sun to just get at me. And at that point, I had enough. I'm not just gonna sit here and have you just disrespect me. It became like a back and forth. My friend took us outside to try to mediate so we can just get over it. At that point, I just started documenting all the things that he did and said to me, because I was told to keep a paper trail. But after that, it wasn't subtle anymore. He was trying everything to bring conflict to me, arguing about who bought trash bags, taking dishes out of the sink that he used but expected me to clean, and would have his sister on the phone talking crap about me right in front of me. It was too much. Then it escalated to noise harassment. Now, I said I went to school for mechanical engineering. I would spend late nights at the library, especially because I wasn't trying to be home. I'd come home real late, sometimes like midnight, just to sleep. And he would literally blast his music like right at my door, and then would get pots and pans and would just clank them just repeatedly right outside of my door. This wasn't random. This was literally a targeted attack against me. He hated me. He did everything in his power to try to break me and just harass me. There was even a point where he went to our university and made a complaint, a false complaint about me to try to get me kicked out of school. Luckily, from that, I was able to have a meeting with them. And after showing them like all the evidence, all the calls to police, the security, the timestamps, like the photos, it was dismissed. I was fine. But the fact that I still had to go through that was literally crazy. The final escalation involved some eggs. He accused me of using his eggs, which I didn't, right before I left for a trip in DC. I left locking my door, mind you, came back to eggs cracked and smashed in my bed. So he broke into my door, and I know he broke into my room because when I first moved there, I was with my mom. My door was locked, and he literally unlocked it right in front of us. So I knew he knew how to unlock my door. But yeah, he cracked eggs all in my bed. There was a point, and like I did smoke cigarettes back then because I was in engineering school, and it was real stressful. And I smoked menthols, Camel menthols actually, with a little crush in it because like I was really stressed. Yeah, I was going through a lot. We would go out onto our patio to smoke cigarettes, like usually like really late at night. And one night he basically took my peanut butter and put it on the doorknob handle. So I guess I can like accidentally touch it and have peanut butter on me. Just fucking stupid, just crazy. And at this point, I was literally calling the police, the security, the apartment staff about him, and each time I was led with like either we can't do anything about it, you can break your lease for whatever $1,000 that I didn't have, or from the police, you know, keep a paper trail. Like that was going to do something. So after the egg situation, I called the police again. They basically suggested that I get a protective order against him. And again, this is like late at night. I think I had I had a lot going on. I had something I had to do the next day, so I couldn't do it the next day. But I did it the day after that. When I went to go put in the protective order, I found out the day before that he did one against me, which I'm just like, you know what, whatever, I don't care. They told me we can't talk to each other, we can't have contact with each other, but we still live with each other. So basically until, like, when you file a protective order on somebody, there's a court date set. So until that court date where you both get to speak, like say your piece, you can't speak to each other, which was perfect for me because what I was already doing in the first place. And at that point, you know, winter break was coming up. I would do my best to stay at my friend's house. I would even drive to Virginia Beach to stay with my mom and come back just for like clothes or, you know, brushing my teeth or just like taking a shower or whatever, because I still live there. But I just didn't like being there, right? So the night before our court date, at this point I think winter break finally happened. I was staying with my mom in Virginia Beach. The court date was in Richmond. So the night before court, me and my mom came to Richmond to, you know, she was gonna stay with me in my room. We're gonna just stay there until the next day so we can just easily go to court. Tell me why that night the police came and I was informed that I had 5 misdemeanors on my record because he lied and said that I had contact with him, that when I went home to like get the supplies that I needed, I don't know what he lied about, but that I had contact with him, which I didn't. Half the time I didn't even see him, and if I did see him, I ignored him. And honestly, this part is so hard to say. At this point, the cops knew me. They knew who I was from always making complaints. They were really kind, but they still had a job to do. And they knew the situation, so they basically told me, like, I will have to go to the station. But once the magistrate there sees on the documents that we have the same address, I'll just be able to like go back home. And I remember like walking towards the cop car like with my mom, and they like told me to go like on the other side of the car like without my mom because they had to handcuff me and they didn't want my mom seeing that. So yeah, I got handcuffed, I had to go in the car, drive to the station, but the whole time like I had hope in my heart, right? Because like the cops were reassuring me that I'll be able to go home. It's basically a misunderstanding. They know my story. They know that he's the crazy roommate and everything will be fine. So I wasn't too scared because in my mind, I know this is a big misunderstanding. The cops are reassuring me once I get there, it'll be fine. I go there. The magistrate barely looks at me and looks at the paper and just says, you're staying here overnight until your court date. I had to stay in a holding cell until the next day. And I've never been arrested. I've never been in a situation like this at all. I'm literally like 21 years old as this is happening. And you know what? I'm like, I can still toughen it out. I can do this. When the morning comes, I'll be able to go to court because that's what they said I'd be able to do. I'll be able to show them the paperwork, the evidence of what I've been going through, and it'll be okay. They take me out handcuffed in front of a screen where Carlos, it was a screen where it was like a video feed of the court case, the whatever, like everybody was in court but me. I didn't even get to say anything. The only thing that was said to me was by the judge, and the judge told me I get no bail and I have to stay in here until February. Which so sad. The only thing on my mind at that moment was the semester starts in January. I'm gonna miss it. So I was stuck in jail. And that's the end of part 1, guys. Part 2 will be released next week, and I'll go into how I was in jail, how I was treated by the guards, people, how I felt, and how it ended. So I'll see you guys next week. Thanks again. Be sure to subscribe and comment and like and share. All right. See you. Love you guys.